In this video, we discuss the nature of enzymes and the naming of enzymes. The most enzymes are proteins. We know all enzymes are proteins except the catalytic RNA, or they are called RNAs. The catalytic RNA, some RNA are having the catalytic power, except that all enzymes are proteins. And their catalytic activity depends on the integrity of their native 3D conformation. In protein structure, we have studied the native 3D or tertiary structure of proteins. So this structure is very important. This is called 3D structure. This native 3D structure is very important for the enzyme catalysis or the enzyme activity. If an enzyme is denatured or dissociated into its subunits, its catalytic activity is lost. That is, you know what is denaturation. The denaturation process that removes the catalytic activity of the protein, or that particular activity of that particular enzyme is lost due to denaturation. And if an enzyme is completely broken down into its constant amino acids, its activity is always destroyed. That is, if the enzymes are broken down into its constant amino acid, its activity is completely or always destroyed. Thus, all the structures, that is the primary structure of enzyme, secondary structure of enzyme, and the 3D native structure of enzymes are important in the catalytic activity. The structure of enzymes, or what is the nature of enzymes? We know that all enzymes are proteins except one RNA, so the catalytic RNA. All enzymes are proteins. Then enzymes, like other proteins, have molecular weight. All proteins are having the specific molecular weight. Then here the weight range from 12,000 to 1 million. Some enzymes require no chemical groups for their activity other than their constant amino acid residues. That is, some enzymes require only their amino acid residues for their activity. Then some others require an additional chemical component for their activity other than the protein part or the amino acid part. Such, if it is a chemical component, that part of an enzyme is called a cofactor. What is cofactor? Cofactor is a chemical component or a chemical molecule, or simply chemicals, usually metals, which are associated with the protein part of an enzyme is called a cofactor. For example, Fe2+, Mg2+, Mn2+, Zinc2+, etc. The different metal ions are usually associated with the activity of enzyme, or found in association with the protein of enzyme. So they are very essential for the activity of that enzyme. Then in other enzymes, we can see association with the protein part, some complex organic molecules, usually vitamins, are seen in association with the protein part. If the associated part or non-protein part of an enzyme is an organic complex molecule, then it is called coenzyme. Usually vitamins, coenzyme A are examples. Usually the coenzymes are derived from vitamins, or the vitamins supply the coenzyme to a particular enzyme. So these two are important other than the amino acid residue of an enzyme. That is cofactor and coenzyme. Cofactor is the metal component associated with, or the chemical component associated with the protein of an enzyme. Then the coenzyme is the complex organic molecule that is found in association with the coenzyme. This cofactor and coenzymes are important, or they are required for the active catalytic activity of certain enzymes. Then some enzymes require both coenzymes and cofactor. That is, in the same enzyme you can find cofactor and coenzymes. Both are required. Then in some enzymes, the cofactor or coenzymes are tightly or even covalently bonded to the protein part of an enzyme. So usually the coenzyme or cofactor are usually loosely bonded. Okay, loosely bonded with the protein part. But in certain enzymes you can see the coenzyme or cofactor are tightly bonded even with the covalent bond. If the tight bonding is occurred between the coenzyme or cofactor with the protein part, that coenzyme or cofactor is called a prosthetic group. Okay, that coenzyme or cofactor is called a prosthetic group once it is covalently bonded or tightly bonded with the protein part. Okay, a complete catalytically active enzyme together with its bound coenzyme or cofactor is called a holoenzyme. Okay, that's a complete enzyme with the protein part plus cofactor or coenzyme or both are called holoenzymes. And the protein part of a holoenzyme is called apoenzyme, or it is also called apoprotein. That is, every enzyme is having a protein part, the major part. That part is called apoenzyme or apoprotein. So a enzyme is having a cofactor or a coenzyme or both, cofactor and coenzyme. Then if the cofactor or coenzyme are tightly bonded with the protein part of an enzyme is called a prosthetic group. Then the protein part of an enzyme is called apoenzyme or apoprotein, and the whole protein, that is the whole apoenzyme plus a cofactor or apoenzyme plus a coenzyme or apoenzyme plus cofactor plus coenzyme is called holoenzyme. The complete enzyme is called holoenzyme, and the protein part is called apoenzyme or apoprotein. Then coming to the naming of enzymes. Then there are different ways for naming of enzymes. Usually the enzymes are named by adding a suffix "ase" to the name of their substrate. Okay, by simply adding "ase" to the name of their substrate, or to a word or a phrase describing the activity. Simply adding "ase" to a substrate, name of a substrate, or the activity of that particular enzyme. For example, urease catalyzes hydrolysis of urea. Okay, urease is a substrate that is degraded into its component. Okay, urea hydrolysis degraded into its components. Okay, so the substrate is urea. By simply adding "ase", it becomes urease. Okay, and DNA polymerase. For example, the reaction DNA polymerase catalyzes the polymerization of DNA or polymerization of a nucleotide to form DNA. That is, here the "ase" is added to their activity. Other enzymes were named by their discoverers for a broad function. It's a discover gives name to a particular enzyme before the specific reaction catalyzed was known. For example, an enzyme known to act in the digestion of food was named pepsin, because the pepsis Greek meaning digestion. So it's a broad function, the isolated person named because it is helping the digestion. So it is named as pepsin. Then lysozyme was another example for that. Lysozyme was named for its ability to lyse bacterial cell wall. Lyse means lysozyme, this ability to lyse. Because of that, it is named as lysozyme. Then others were named their sources from where they first isolated. Like that, they are also named. That is trypsin, for example, trypsin. Okay, then the biochemists by international agreement have adopted a particular system. This is a system for naming a particular or giving names to a particular enzyme. Okay, the biochemists by international agreement have adopted a system for naming and and classifying enzyme. Classification we will study, we will discuss in the next part. Then enzymes are named by a nomenclature committee appointed by International Union of Biochemistry in 1984. A committee was constituted by the International Union of Biochemistry, and this is called Enzyme Commission. The Enzyme Commission assigned each enzyme a recommended name and a 4-part distinguishing number. So every enzyme is given a particular name and a 4-part distinguishing number. So every enzyme is having an internationally accepted name and a 4-part distinguishing number. That's all.